Alright, so this next demo video will be dealing with both a scalloped motif as well as a curved followed by a straight line followed by a curve. The main takeaways with the curves with corners and combining curves with straight lines is that we'll have to use Alt to actually change the direction of those handles. So we break the handle to go in a different direction from what it wants to go in or preloads to go into. So I'm going to zoom in here. Hotkey P is not working. I don't know why. Let me go ahead and click and drag, holding Shift. Going to my second anchor point, holding Shift, dragging that handle down into that little gray space. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold Alt, I'm going to click on that handle, and I'm going to pull it up all the way to this top circle there, and then I'll release. And what you'll see is, like, by pulling the handle back up in the vertical direction, it's now making that scallop say, like, I want the line to like jump up again instead of going swoop down like the other sine wave. So pulling handles, the handle again is kind of like creating momentum for the line to travel in. It's setting up a predictable direction that you want the line to move in. So I'm going to go to the second anchor, click, hold Shift, let go. Now I'm going to pull this handle up and let it go in that gray space. Again, notice now I'm setting myself up for another scallop shape. Clicking in that anchor point zone, holding Shift, releasing. I'm going to hold Alt, click and drag up, and then move on to the next anchor point. Click, hold Shift. And again, if I wanted to continue this process, I would hold Alt, I would click on this lower handle, and I would pull it up in that vertical direction. And you can see the preview now is creating that line, a repetition for the next scallop line. So that's our first curves with corner points. Let's go ahead and get into this next one. So let's see, press and click here, hold down Shift key, so that just makes it straight. We release our handle there. We're then going to go to the next position, hold Shift key and drag our handle to here, so that's 4. Click, so by clicking on the anchor point, that'll make the handle fall back inside of it. Click, release, press the anchor point, hold down Shift key. Okay. So in this case, we're going to make some moves where we basically make the handle retreat into the anchor point, and then we'll then pull those anchor points out in different directions. So let's go ahead and do this. So holding Shift, pulling my handle up to this first gray location, going to the second anchor point, holding Shift, holding my handle down here. And now what we're going to do again is, like, we want to do a straight line. One of the things I end up doing is, like, I'll hold Alt and I'll pull the anchor point, so that it shoots towards the next location. But another way of doing that as well is just clicking on that anchor point, and you can see the handle is no longer pointing down. So if I go to this next location and click, now I've got that straight line. Now again, question, how do you get handles out of your anchor point? If you hover over it, it'll create that little V shape. Also, you could hold Alt and pull it out. But I think if you pull out Alt, I'm not sure, but it might pull it out in both directions. So in this case, again, don't have to hold Alt. I'm just going to click and drag down. So long as you have that little corner icon showing up next to the tool, that little like inverted V or caret shape, that should mean that you should have a handle there that you can actually pull out. So I pulled that handle down to number 7. I'm going to put an anchor point at number 8, holding Shift, dragging my handle to 9. I'm then going to click on my anchor point, which makes my handle retreat into that anchor point. I'll move on to 10, click once, I can then click on that anchor point and pull a handle out. Notice again the handle kind of wants to push the line in the direction of the curve. Then I'll come last to position 13. I'm going to hold shift and drag my handle to 14. Now again, if I wanted to continue in an upward direction, I want to get this handle to retreat. And in order to retreat the handle, you just click on that anchor point. You notice it disappears. And basically, when you click on it and the handle is being used in one direction, whatever other direction it's not being used on will then just like retreat back into that anchor point. And this will be the last of our demos for the PenTool exercises. We'll likely do another demo on this curves with corner points and tweaking handles at another time. All right, take care.